Hello again. This is the first part of the observation process. It's called the Introduction to the Observation Process video, obviously. And hopefully it'll answer all those questions that you have about the observation process. And I suggest that you let the video play and you can scroll down. I've removed the page breaks in it, so I think that you can go down and look. While I'm not going to read it to you, I will point out some things that are very important, and I'll probably add a little bit to the content itself. The first part of it is why and how much do I need to do? Field experience do I need to have? It's required by the state. In their process of setting up this class, they have asked that you do 15 hours in a elementary, middle, high school, or preschool. They can be public or private. Charter schools are included under public schools. And because it is one of the education prerequisites, the other one, the Education 1005, also has 15 hours of observation with that. So if you're doing both classes this semester, you'll be doing 30 hours of observation, and you can't double dip them. In other words, if you do one here, it can't be used in the other class. The focus of both of the classes are different, and that's one of the reasons why it's necessary to do it the way we're doing it. The focus here is on what's the teacher doing to help the diverse populations be successful. The focus in the other class is on the teaching profession. There, you are allowed to have as many hours as you want, I guess, in a classroom. Here, you may not have more than 2 hours with any one teacher. And I've taught this class for a long time, and I know you don't get more information about what I'm asking for out of spending 5 hours there. It just doesn't happen. The teacher's style stays the same after the first hour and the second hour. So you'll get a lot more information by going to other teachers. You'll get to compare and contrast lots of different things. And you'll gain much more by spending no more than 2 hours in any one classroom. So I've talked about the 15 hours. They all need to be done within a classroom, as I've already explained and is listed there. If you're want to teach middle school, I suggest you also observe an upper elementary and maybe a high school, so you can see where they came from and where they're going. The same thing goes for the other levels as well. Early childhood majors, you need to do yours in an accredited preschool. If we need to talk about that, we can do that through the email. And you will need to have at least 11 hours within the preschool area. I'd like 4 hours of that to be in a public school, either VPK or kindergarten or first grade. But some of it needs to be there so you too can see where your children will end up and what's expected of them. Charter schools, for the most part, are not all that diverse. There are 2 mentioned in the text, and those 2 are, well, I'm not so sure about the military academy, but I know Suncoast is very, very diverse. Excuse me while I find the rest of the notes. What to consider as I choose my school? The first consideration must be that it's diverse. And that doesn't mean there's 1 or 2 from a different culture in a classroom, but it means that there's a lot of diversity within the school. And I've listed some of the schools in Manatee County and Sarasota County that I know are very diverse. And those are the ones you should try to go to. If it's on the list that says, try to avoid this, that means they're really not diverse, and while you may see some good things happening there, it's not going to accomplish your purpose. What happens once the contacts are made? The idea is that you're going to call the schools. I suggest calling them, well, first, But I also suggest at this time of the year, going in and presenting yourself to them is probably going to be better, because it's hard to avoid that person in front of you. It's easy to say, I'll call you back, or, and then never do. And that's unfortunately the thing. You have to remember that the schools are just starting out themselves in August, so there aren't too many of them that are really excited about having visitors there, although you would gain an awful lot if you were able to get in the schools and watch the teachers set up the routines and everything in their classrooms, because it's really important to do this. But hopefully you're going to be able to go in there and to get those appointments set up. You may have to take what they want. You may not be able to go in and say, I want a third grade and I want to do it such and such a date, such and such a time. They'll try to accommodate you, but it might not be that third grade classroom. So work with them and not against them. You'll have a letter to take with you. You'll find that, I'll mention that later on. And there are some suggestions about what to do after the contacts have been made. Being prepared is one of the biggest ones. Arriving on time and having your templates all printed out will help you too. Your logs ready to go. And what you're going to try to do is to look at, or to be the fly on the wall to see what's going on. This is not the class where you're going to interact with the children. If a teacher should happen to ask you, you may, but that's not really the purpose behind this. This is the class where you sit in the back of the room or wherever the teacher tells you to sit, and you observe what the teacher is doing and what's going on in the classroom. The templates will help you a lot to focus your attention. And you want to, when you report it, you want to make it clear enough so that somebody like me, who is not in that classroom, gets a good picture of what's going on in the classroom. And there are a lot of suggestions there to answer your questions, and also in setting that up. So I think that's enough for right now. We'll move on with the second part of the observation, and that's how are you going to report the information back.